My dad was like, I'll disown you.
Wow,
Yeah.
okay.
I told him, that was the day I was going to London, on the same day. I was like 19. I told him, listen, it's my life, it's my money, and I decide. And I banged the door and I left. You know, we had a 16-year-long war, me and my dad fighting for 16 years.
7654321.
Hey everyone, welcome to the third episode of the Booking Experience. Before we start, we want to inform you about super exciting news. Booking is launching in France in July, and we wanted to thank you all for believing in the platform and for helping us grow globally. Without you, Booking wouldn't be here today. We're super grateful for the amazing community that we have built over the past year, and we hope to keep growing and to actually expand worldwide. So today, we're meeting with one of the key pillars of the tattoo industry in Lebanon, an artist who's known not just for his top tattooing skills, but for his huge talent in so many art areas, such as graffiti, sculpting, and many more. If you haven't guessed yet, I'm talking about Hady Beydoun. Hi, Hady.
Hi, Tracy.
How are you?
I'm great.
Good?
Yes.
So, first of all, thank you so much for having me here today. You have a one-of-a-kind studio. بيعقد. No way.
Thank you.
I wish people can see everything. بركي هيك later we get هيك in a studio tour. And عن جد it's amazing. So, Hady, I think you know that you are like on top of your game in the tattoo industry from the beginning. Like you started tattooing in Lebanon. It all started with you basically. So as many people might be curious as I am, we want to know, how did you start? When did you start? Why did you start?
Oh, wow. I started initially as I wanted to do something that is rebellious and that society doesn't approve of.
Okay.
Because all my life I've liked being someone who goes against the current, you know, like even from school days. I always wanted to be different.
Okay.
So when I got introduced to tattooing through a magazine, I was like, this is it, you know, and this was in '91.
Wow.
So a friend of mine went to Cyprus, got a tattoo magazine. The war had just ended and all that. So in that period, I was painting on T-shirts. And the reason why he came over with the tattoo magazine was that he picked a design from the magazine and asked me to paint it on his T-shirt.
Okay.
In the meantime, as I was painting it, I was looking at the art, the magazine, the colors, the tattoos, you know. And I was like wondering, how the hell is it possible to do all this, you know, colors and shades and lines under the skin? I mean, I had no idea how it went. I was 17 back then.
You were 17,
I was
super
17,
young.
yeah.
Okay.
And then I read the whole magazine. And I was really hooked. I knew that this is it, you know. So that was in summer. October, I go to AB. I'm doing archaeology because it was the only thing I could do.
Okay.
And I spent the whole time at the library reading and researching tattoo. Anything related to tattoo, I was reading it and, you know, knowing what it was. History, mythology, why did it develop? Where is it found in archaeology, psychology of artists? I've read so many books, so I had an idea.
Okay.
And then step 2 was to find a tattoo machine. Don't forget, 90s, this is 91. And there's like, not even a cell phone was invented, you know? There was no cell phone back then, there was no internet, there was nothing. You had your regular line, which hardly even connects, you know? Anyway, my uncle came back from the States and he got me an address. So I wrote them a letter like, I need a catalog. So like 5-6 months later, I get a reply because post service was so slow.
Exactly.
And the reply was, you have to pay $20 for the catalog. So okay, I make a little check and I send it. 6-7 months later, I get a reply. I get the catalog. Okay, what to order? Like machine parts for me is like Chinese, you know. I had no idea
It's
what
super
to order.
new.
Yeah. And then I was kind of like disappointed a little bit that I don't know what to order, you know, and it's very hard to call them and
For them to
communicate.
have.
Yeah. So, and then I was like, fuck, if the machine, fuck.
Free space.
If the machine doesn't come to you, you go to the machine. So there's an address in London, fair enough. I make a little questionnaire, you know, like a small piece of paper. My dad had a typewriter, so I typed on it, if you feel like getting a tattoo, leave your name and number. And I left it at a music shop, a friend of mine, and a bookstore, you know, art materials and stuff. And like 3 different places.
Okay.
And every week I would pass by and look at the papers, see how many have filled up. And man, there was a lot, so many. I was like, okay, that's it. So I saved up in '94, like 3 years later. I had enough money. I go to London. I stay 10 days. Got everything, machines, accessories, you know. I even got a book that teaches you how to solder needles one by one, and what color before what color when you're tattooing, and you know, basic rules and stuff. And that's how I had my first kind of training, you know.
Experience.
And then you have to do it physically, so where better to do it than on myself, you know.
Okay,
So I did the first one on myself. And then I showed it at AB, you know, my friends and friends of friends. And wow, it's so
It was
cool.
new هون لا إنه مش إنه كان شيء كتير common for people to
ما
have
كان إنه
tattoos.
there were like of course the tattoos of the 80s وهول تبع you know الأحزاب وهيك. It was there, but it wasn't the quality tattoo, you know. You could tell it's like handmade and blurry and you know not anatomically correct, you know. There was no technique, there was nothing. So I came with the machine, you know, and
Super professional.
plus I had a background of painting,
Okay.
you know. So I've been painting since I was 14 on T-shirts and coloring and you know lines and all that. So I had an idea. Plus I'm good with my hands, so it wasn't so hard for me actually.
Okay.
And then it was word of mouth, you know. One person, you know, tells the other, and then it started, you know, like since '95.
Wow. Andred, it's
Yeah.
amazing. But how did the people react to that? إذا بدك career choice, إنه back then tattoos were a huge taboo.
Oh yeah, of course. Like
So إنه how did people react about that?
starting
about
with
your
my
family?
dad.
Your dad.
My dad was like, he was a university professor, and he's so academic and he's so like square.
By the book.
Yeah, too much, you know. Like if I tell you the rules we had at home, you'd freak. Anyway, my dad was like, I'll disown you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I told him, that was the day I was going to London, on the same day. I was like 19. I told him, listen, it's my life, it's my money, and I decide. And I banged the door and I left, you know. We had a 16-year-long war, me and my dad fighting for 16 years.
Wow.
Because I defied him, you know.
Yeah.
Society was split in like 2 different categories. You had, of course, the people who were afraid, and people who are kind of religious, you know, and they were like, no, it's haram, or it's not all this. And then you had the people who appreciated, you know, and these were my people, you know. There was a lot of questions, of course, like regarding the society of who is getting tattooed, and lots of questions and lots of debates and all that. It was on TV, it was in the news, it was, you know, and ignorance brings a lot of problems. When people are ignorant of something they don't know, they're gonna hate it and they're gonna, you know, downsize it or you know, demonize it, you know. And I've been through that. But how to counter that? Luckily, the image I gave, it's because, you know, I can speak English and I'm educated. Unlike the people who were tattooing at that period.
Okay.
Who were they usually? Marginal people, you know. My dad used to call them marginal people, you know.
Yeah, they had a specific category, يعني.
Yeah, you know, that category that we don't relate to.
Yeah.
And
because they're different.
And this gave it a bad image, you know, to start with, and especially with politics and war and all that, and symbols and signs on people. So it was really associated not only in Lebanon, but worldwide. It was associated with marginal people, gangsters, countercultures, you know, societies, small groups of societies against the mainstream, because, you know, religion forbade tattoos. So the only people who got tattoos back then were outlaws outside the law, or royal families above the law. These are the only people who could get tattoos. But the middle class, people in the middle, would not dare. You know, it was this kind of worldwide, you know.
Because it was a huge taboo. It was like, if you do it, you're immediately a super bad person. Yeah.
Exactly. It means you're a gangster. It's
Yes.
still up till today in some parts of the world, like in Japan or somewhere in the States, it's not really it's frowned upon, you know. They don't see it as art because it's gang related. And you had a similar view of it here also. But how to counter that? I started making a newsletter, you know, and distributing it at universities, because there was no Instagram, there was no social media, so the only way to reach people was through print.
Yes.
And luckily, I'm a graphic designer. That's what I studied at, you know, AUB. I changed from archaeology. I moved to graphic design a year later. So I had computer skills, plus I can write, plus I have artwork to show, not only tattoos, but in the beginning it started as only tattoos in the newsletter. And I would print in it, you know, articles that I would write about hygiene, about quality of work, about what to look for in a tattoo studio, you know. It's kind of highlighting the important things because people don't know.
Yes.
Plus, there was a section on history, and this was part of my final project at AUB, actually, history of tattoos. And then I came up with a style, you know, for back then, for the 90s, which ironically sold a lot.
Really?
Yeah. Which was great, you know, I used it. So it was like a cross between design and tattoo, you know, and what I learned from graphic design, I applied in tattoo, you know, in terms of thinking, in terms of computer skills, in terms of design. It really helped a lot.
Yeah, so it was a huge added value for your
of course.
career.
And plus, seeing the newsletter, and I had like, you know, when I would give it at the gate, students, the janitor, the professor, anyone passing by and is interested, I would hand him one. And then you have teachers in the class, and they would go and say, look, this is our successful marketing in a marketing class, you know.
Ah, okay,
Yeah.
you became a reference.
Yeah, it was, I got echoes, you know, it was something, you know, because
Wow.
it's printed material.
Yeah.
And then because I have my clients database, I used to collect physical addresses. So later on, when I started printing bigger quantities of my newsletter, like 10,000 copies or something, I would mail with Liban Post, with the post, 5,000 to 6,000 copies. You know, it was affordable back then. And so you're a client, and then you receive a newsletter with your name on it, and you know.
Okay, full on
and
marketing.
it was really interesting. And then people to whom it was not intended to would get to it. The delivery boy maybe didn't go up on the 6th floor because, you know, there's no electricity. So he stores it on the 2nd floor. And then the madame on the 2nd floor, wow, she has exactly. And she's interested and she has a scar and she wants to cover it up. And this is a real example, you know, because I printed pictures of scar cover-ups or old tattoo, you know, cover-ups. So there was different sections to show what can be done.
Okay,
and
thanks
this
to tattooing.
exactly brought new people, and that was really, really cool. But then when Instagram happened, and then the prices shot up, and then you can't mail anymore 10,000 copies, or you're gonna pay a fortune. You know, it was affordable before.
Yes.
So I stopped it.
Wow.
But yeah, it was something. And in this way, gradually, like in the 2000s, this is when I started it. The idea, people viewing tattoos started to change, like locally. Also globally, it was changing. Pamela Anderson got a barbed wire tattoo, and then everyone wanted to get the same. And then
it became a trend.
Yeah, just like now, you know.
Exactly.
It's still, but you know, before it was more like less mass, like today, you know.
So that's the thing that بوقتك you had to face so many challenges to be able to be accepted.
Yes.
You know, إنه أنت هيدا شغلك.
Yeah.
It's not something bad.
And a lot of people never took it seriously.
Yeah.
Until they saw that, oh my God, this guy has been around for like 20 years.
Yeah.
You know, it's legit.
This is the problem. I don't know worldwide, but in Lebanon we have that problem. I feel, you know, art is not taken seriously in general. And you feel, you know, إذا حدا he's an artist, إنه شو هالشغل؟ هذا مش شغل. You know, we had that مثل that idea إنه محطوطة براسنا نحن وصغار إنه.
Exactly.
Art is a hobby. هيك بنشوفها. So that's why, you know, I believe how hard it is, especially that, as you said, you mentioned that you're not just into tattooing, as we can see. You're into a lot of different areas.
I've done a lot of live events where I paint during an event, you know, like a big mural or body paint, or paint on snowboards, or, you know, a jet ski or whatever, or a boat, or any item. And this was a big plus also, you know. I did a lot of work in the advertising world since I'm a graphic designer, so I never stopped that side, you know, as logos, as press, as, you know, printable materials for businesses and stuff. I managed, you know, a bit from here, a bit from there, you know. You can't rely on only one thing, especially in the 90s. Like, there was no trend yet, you know, or the 2000s. And then, don't forget the political situation and, you know, the shit that happens and all that. Everything affects everything, you know.
That's good, it's true.
But yeah, there's always a way.
Amazing career path, صراحة.
Yeah.
You know, I have a question that I'm super, super curious about. And I always ask myself, you know, what inspires you as an artist to create art? You know, what comes to the mind of an artist? You know, I want to create this, I want to do this. You know, شو بتصير?
It's more of a feeling, you know, like you want to do something, but you want to do something meaningful. You know, you can go to the movies, but then, or you can buy something, but it's not as satisfying as doing something. And you want to do something that, one, resembles you and is an expression of you. You know, I feel happy, I want to, you know, paint something happy. I feel angry, I want to do something. And I was filled with anger most of my life, you know. I had lots of anger and rebellion. Anger towards everything. Life, people, the country, the cricket system, you know, my parents. All this. Plus, music for me is a huge inspiration, like rock music and the rebellion of this music and the melodies and the aggression in it and the lyrics and all that. It's what really, it was my therapy all my life, you know? And having all this makes in my mind, you know, makes me think that I want to be a rock star. And I wanted that since I was like a teenager. I wanted to be a rock star. But I'm not a musician, nor am I a singer or anything. I do art, and I do everything in that flavor, you know.
So also, art was like your escape.
Yeah. It's my identity. It's who I am. Without it, who am I? You know.
It's beautiful.
This is it, and it becomes you. It's your identity. It's your fingerprint. It's, you know, you came to this earth, and you have the ability to take material from the earth and shape it the way you want. You take a piece of wood, you take a piece of metal, you take some paint, you take a cloth, whatever it is, and you do your magic, and you present it in a different way.
So let's say you said, and it's a feeling. It's usually when you feel something, you feel the need to create. And let's say you're angry, ومثل بدك تطلع هالanger بطريقة maybe that is sane, let's say, and you feel the need to create, and you create that art. So after that creation, you feel different, you feel better, you feel...
you have an orgasm. Definitely. And it's an orgasm every time. It's a mental orgasm. Every time you look at the art that you've done. Like, oh, fuck, I did this, you know?
You feel proud.
And and you look at the details, and in every detail there's a story of what were you thinking or feeling at that moment when you did that. It's engraved in the art. Forever. Believe it or not. Anytime you look at it, even like 20 years later, you look at something you've done before, automatically you get the vibe, you know? Because art is like this. We are active, you know? So we are doing the action. And the art is passive. It's receiving the action. The minute you finish the art, you finish doing it, the roles are reversed. Now the art is active. It's telling you something, and you become passive, the receiver. So the roles are switched. So all the energy you put in later on to you or to anyone else looking at it is going to receive that energy.
True.
If they are sensitive enough to that energy and it touches them, then they want to buy it, they want to own it. If it resembles them one way or the other, if they relate to it, if they relate to the energy of it, to what it's saying, you know. Although it could be an abstract piece, but it could be saying something to you.
Okay.
So the energy put in is the energy put out, you know.
I love that. So
Yeah.
it explains يمكن ليه why is it subjective إنه ليه بيقولوا إنه someone loves that piece and someone else doesn't love it. So it makes
Exactly.
sense إنه it's
Exactly.
related to the feeling that you get when you look at that piece.
And usually it's energy, it's energetically, if it's harmonious with you or not. It could repel you or it could attract you, you know?
Yeah,
It could
makes so much
trigger
sense.
something in you, you know? And
إيه
this is-
sometimes I'm بحس إنه في اطلع على شغلة like for literally a lot of time.
Yeah.
إنه هيك you get immersed in it and sometimes okay bof
Exactly,
عادي.
exactly.
Nice.
So this is art, you know, and art on the skin is the same as art on the canvas, you know.
Yes.
It's the same. Plus, when it's on the skin, it's you are not alone doing it. You are doing it on someone, and you are interacting with that someone. And there's a lot of limitations to what you can do, size-wise, or style-wise, or idea-wise, or whatever. But it's a beautiful interaction at the end of the day. It's mutual therapy.
Yeah.
You know, tattooing is mutual therapy. As much as the person getting tattooed is having their therapy, you as a tattoo artist, you are also having your own therapy
Because you are creating.
with them. Yeah. Because you are creating and interacting, you know, and sometimes answers come to you through different people, or you are the answer to some people, you know. So it's mutual exchange of energy, and what remains is the memory of this energy, you know.
On your body forever.
Yeah.
What do maybe most people not realize about life as an artist? يعني يمكن بيشوفوا إنه he's an artist, he's so creative, واو كتير حلو شغله. I wish I can be like that. بس إنه أكيد there is a side or something that people don't see or don't realize.
Look, it's much easier than you imagine, and also the price is too high. But for anything in life, if you're willing to pay the price, you can get it. Anything you want, you can have, if you're willing to pay the price for it. Not materially, although also maybe also materially, but I'm speaking emotionally and energy-wise and focus-wise, you know. Anyone who has a dream to become an artist can be, because everyone is an artist. All it takes is some courage to start, you know, and then it's like a snowball effect. You have to start with something, and then it will grow bit by bit, you know, it will feed itself. If you're a writer, if you're into fashion, if you're into drawing, singing, dancing, whatever it is that you like to do as art, if you put all your focus in it, there's no way it's not gonna happen. There is no way. But you have to put your 100% focus into it. If you have doubt, maybe it won't work, then it might not work.
And unfortunately, most of the people, they think that way. يعني عنا هيدا
لأنه it's in the culture, you know.
مزبوط.
Parents teach their children how to be afraid.
Exactly.
It's like
and to doubt themselves.
yeah, it's so prevalent, especially here. But you have to defy that, and you have to like turn your deaf ear to that, because your parents don't know as much as you know. You know, like I discovered when my parents passed away and all that, that at some point I evolved further than where my parents were. My parents stopped somewhere. They couldn't open up more. That's it. Because they didn't have the same experiences that I've had. Different life,
True.
totally different mindset, totally different. Everything was different. You know, now we are more advanced than our parents, and our parents may not be the best guides for us. The best guides for us is our internal, your inner voice. Not the fears of society, of whatever, you know. People usually like to propagate fear. They like it. It's like
A few moments later.
Welcome to Lebanon.
It's cool. Okay, so yeah. People like to propagate fear because fear sells at the end of the day. And ever since newspapers came around and radio and TV, it was bad news. You know, this is called.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. They have a name for it. It's called ideological subversion. You know, there's a name for it. And it's a huge 20-year program to program people on fear, mostly, because you can control a person who's afraid. You can never control a happy person. A courageous person doesn't need your help. Only a person who's afraid needs your help. Therefore, to make people afraid will give you power over them. And this has been always the system, in humanity. And it goes down from macro, from society, into micro, family. Therefore, you have parent dominating the kids, or the elder kid dominating his younger brothers or sisters. But this was more prevalent in the past, like in the 70s and before that, up till like some of it in the 90s probably. Now I don't know if it's still there, but
maybe, but a bit less.
A bit
maybe.
less, but the common factor is always fear sells, and fear is an illusion, really. Usually the things you are afraid of are the things that never happen.
It's your thoughts.
It's your imagination. So if you have fear in you, paint it. This is how you conquer it. If you have anger in you, put it out. This is how you conquer it. You can put it out and make a fight or get drunk or sculpt something or paint something, which is more positive anger.
Of course.
Doing art is the most positive form of anger, is a most positive manifestation of anger. Simply outpouring something, whether it's visual or vocal or playing an instrument or, doing something with your hands. That's it. You become a creator, and this alone gives you power. Alone. People look at you differently because you're someone who creates versus than someone who consumes. You look at yourself differently when you create. If there's a period where you don't create, you feel like shit, well, who am I? Exactly. And this reminds you of who you are. And each time the creation is different because you're in a different mood, you're in a different mental state, you're in a different stage in your life where you observe things now in a different way than before, So the outcome will look different, and this is how it, progresses.
I think people will get super inspired by that.
This is the point,
I want to be an artist now.
You have to be. I mean, you are an artist, but you are taught in school to forget that you're an artist. And they did the study. It's so cool. So they got a bunch of kids, and they gave them an exercise, like how many uses can we do from a paper clip. I saw this in a TED Talk, which is really interesting. So it's called divergent thinking, like how many solutions can you find in your mind to the same problem. So how many uses can you make of a paper clip? Well, some kids wanted to make it a huge sculpture, other kids wanted to make it a hook to find fish, or you could, I don't know, twist it in some way and make it a table or a chair. There are so many, but the percentage of the people who got A's or who scored at 10 over 10 were 100% of the kids at age 3. They did the same test for the same kids at age 5, and then 7 and 10 and 15. And the percentage of the kids getting a 10 over 10 number shrunk with age. So the older they got, the less creative they got. And this is what happens.
Because of the system.
And the system, they make you forget that you're an artist, and they make you focus on,
Logic.
because what is school? School is built around a factory. So the center is the factory. So what do you need to make a factory? You need an architect, you need an engineer, and then you need machines. So you need a mechanical engineer, and then you need someone to maintain them. You need workers. So for the workers, what do you need? You need food, so you need restaurants and places to live, shelter. And then you need to distract them because you're making them slave from 8 till 8. In the beginning it was like that, 12 hours. So as a distraction you create entertainment, a movie and a basketball and whatever, And then it grew, and this is the city. And then the school is related to the factory in the sense that the primary topics of education are architecture and physics and
exactly, engineering medicine.
Exactly, you need a doctor to fix the employees.
Exactly.
And a shrink and all that. So everything caters to the factory, and you are part of that. Where do you fit in that? Either you're gonna okay, produce the item, or you're gonna market it or sell it. So you have the advertising and the marketing and all that, you know, branch of selling the item of the factory, you know. And then that's it.
How did you get to that conclusion?
It's in
crazy.
plain sight. It's in front of us. You
It's
know?
scary.
Yeah, and this is it. So where do we want to be in this game? Do we want to be a cog in the big engine of the factory? You know, whether producing the item in a chain factory thing, or selling the item as in marketing, or do we want to produce something on our own, not related to all that? You know, and this is
art.
art, any form of art or invention, or you know, you could be an engineer and you want to do your own car, and then you open your own line, you know, that could be a vision also. Why not? You know, it's not only art, as you know, it could be anything, but at least it's not related to the big system. You know, you're not neither selling the item nor making it of the factory. You know, you're only consuming it because you're gonna consume it at some point.
Exactly, they make you do it.
Yeah. Otherwise, you know, you are a consumer. On the other side, you have to be a creator. And this is what pushes me, you know, to do what I want to do or what I'm doing, you know.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I'm Jed.
But then it gives you a meaning, like, okay, where did all my years go? You look, you say, what did I do like 5 years ago? Ah, it's there, you know. It's there. I did this, that, you know. And then you know you didn't waste your time being a vegetable, you know, producing and, you know, and consume, you know, just consuming, you know. And then if you're a 9 to 5 in some company, the effort that you put doesn't go back to you. You know, you get peanuts and the company makes the big profit, but you get peanuts. You know, but you have no other choice because system and all this.
Exactly.
But there's always a choice. Always, you know.
But as you said, it needs courage, and
Courage
not
and
everyone
vision.
will be as ready to get out.
Yeah, if you're ready,
of their
you're gonna go
comfort
for it.
zone. Yeah.
If you're not, you know, if you're not ready, no matter what anyone says or does in front of you, you're not gonna do it. You can't.
Exactly. It's
You know?
it's a feeling that you get.
Because what's the worst that can happen? Really, is staying in your place. That's the worst that can happen. And fear puts you just there.
Yeah.
So you know.
خلاص, I will start painting.
Really, you have to put your stuff, and then you know, gradually you'll be inspired. Look at some YouTube. There's everything on YouTube. You can learn anything. Like I learned how to treat bronze and to work with bronze from YouTube. I had no idea before. You know.
Yes, exactly. عن جد في كتير قصص.
Anything you want, tattoos or sculpture, you name it, it's there. You know. How to paint a drop of water, you'll find it, you know? It's so cool.
Everything is available now, accessible.
And instantly. You don't need to wait for anyone to teach you anything. You can
And for
do
free?
it yourself and for free. You don't even need a university degree anymore. Really.
Yeah, everything is
No.
super accessible.
I never used mine. Really. Because your work, you know, that's your face, you know, it's your identification. Your work will introduce you. You don't need a university to introduce
It's
you.
by practicing that you actually learn.
Yeah.
واصلا everyone says that. يعني مع حدا دارس بالجامعه بيقول لك انا ما تعلمت شيء، انه كل شيء تعلمته بالشغل وطبقته. It's different than what I learned. So it's actually practicing. تعملها للشغله، تختبرها
صح.
لتقدر really to
أنا at uni, you know, they opened doors for me, you know, how to sculpt, we had a sculpture course, we had a photography course, we had a computer course, Illustrator, Photoshop, and this was a great advantage.
Yeah, it's a great base.
advantage, yeah, amazing, you know. And then if you practice and you stay till 5 in the morning on your computer, you're gonna learn something, you know, and this is what I did.
Exactly.
You know?
Okay, nice.
This is how it goes, but you have to want it. You have to really, really want it, you know?
I really hope that maybe people that are watching that were maybe skeptical about starting something new and diving into it, I really hope that thanks to your story they will get really inspired.
Hope so, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. I'm one of like a billion stories
Yes.
that of people doing it themselves, and it always works. Always. If you put 100%, it's what you're gonna get. You know?
Thank you for this هيك inspiration.
My pleasure.
So Hady, I don't know if you saw the other podcasts, but we have like a small section that we want to take you through. That is the rapid fire questions. So I'm just going to ask you very quick questions that and you need to answer with the first thing that comes to your mind. It's just take it to get to know a bit your preferences.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Ready?
Deal.
Okay.
Ready.
So who's your favorite band? You like music, so I felt it's the right question.
For the longest part in my life, I loved Manowar.
Okay.
It was like, and
Your
Twisted Sister, these bands, like they gave me a lot of power. The lyrics, the music, it was the thing, you know.
Okay.
And Metallica, of course, but you know, first comes Manowar.
Okay. And you said for the longest time, so بعدين صار في غير شيء.
Yeah, بعدين صار في Dark Tranquility. I loved that band for a long time. Rammstein lately, I love Rammstein. And for now, I'm enjoying other types of music than metal, you know,
Okay.
like world music and psychedelic music.
Okay, nice.
And chill out. I have some chill out. Yeah.
Okay, so depending on the mood.
Yeah.
Next, what's your favorite drink?
It used to be Bloody Mary. It used
Okay.
to be. But now that I really cut down on alcohol, I love orange juice.
Okay, vitamin C.
Yeah.
Cool. What's your favorite TV show?
There was, like in the 80s, there was this series called The A-Team.
If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find them, maybe you can hire the A-Team.
The A-Team?
The A-Team.
Okay.
It's about like this gang of people, like 5 people, and they have a van and they solve problems, and you know, it's an action thing. So it was my favorite back then. And then when I started tattooing, really like since '95, I dropped TV and all entertainment wasn't in my, you know.
Okay, so since then.
Yeah, not really
Stopped.
interested.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I love documentaries. I love usually documentaries. I love like Lord of the Rings. You know.
I could do that.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah. Woody Allen movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, who's your favorite fictional character?
Fictional character is called Howard Rourke, and he's a character in a book that I've read like I don't know how many times, and this book really shaped my character and my vision in life and how I did how I did my choices in life. It's called The Fountainhead.
Okay, why? How did it?
Because this guy is a rebel. So The Fountainhead is about architecture. So this guy, Howard Rourke, is an architecture student in the 30s in the US, in New York. And in this era, the architecture style was more dominated or influenced by the Roman architecture and the Greek architecture. And he came with a modern point of view. Like, why should a house have 27 columns where 5 columns would do?
Okay.
Just like the human body, you don't have an extra bone that you don't need. And then he saw the circulation in the house and all that. And society opposed him because he was new, and people don't like new things. They like to stick to, you know, the usual,
Exactly.
the casual.
Comfort.
Exactly. And how he defied society, and how he went to the brink of, you know, starvation just to put his point, you know, to make his point, and he did not bend, you know.
Wow.
He did not bend. He just went against the stream. So
So he inspired you.
yeah, a lot. I wanted to be him, you know. So when I was 20,
And you became him.
I don't know, maybe he was too rigid. There was sometimes I was like, no, I don't want to be him anymore, you know. I want to be more easygoing.
Okay. Cool, nice. So I can see you have many tattoos on yourself, and you also mentioned that you started tattooing on your own skin. So do you think you can take us through some of your tattoos?
Sure.
Maybe your favorites, maybe tell us if they have a meaning or like a story behind it that you'd like to share.
This one I did this. This was the second tattoo I did on myself.
Okay, second tattoo.
Yeah, this is in September '95.
Oof, okay.
Imagine.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
28 years
Yes.
ago. Yeah, I was 20.
Okay.
Anyway, so this one, it's a tribal, because tribal style was very common back then. It's a race flag and a sun and an octopus eye.
Okay.
And the octopus because, first of all, the eye because you need to see, and the octopus is because he's intelligent. You know, the intelligence of the octopus is super. And then everything is a race. So you have to finish your project on time at university. You have to finish your appointment on time because you have a next one coming. So everything is related to time. And when you're driving also, you know, timing is everything. If you're going between cars,
Yes.
it's my specialty. So yeah, everything is timing.
Me too, by the way. I
Yeah, it's fun. It's
Yes,
action.
it is.
And then you need the sun to see, you know, without light you can't see anything.
Yeah.
And you can be very idealistic in your life, but there's always something that has to drag you down to earth,
Nice.
you know? So this is how I meant, yeah.
I love
interpreted
it. Okay.
And then I
Another
have,
favorite, maybe?
well, this arm, I got this done in London.
Okay.
So you have a woman holding a heart. It was a broken heart before, but then I mended it, yeah. Because I always had problems with women, you know, love stories and all that.
You got your heart broken?
Many times.
Oh, no.
Haven't you? Not
Alhamdulillah,
yet.
not yet.
Good for you. Yeah. And music. So you have a guy playing the accordion, a guy playing the violin. Fire, because I'm fire. I'm Aries and fire, and my personality is fire. So
Okay.
wing for freedom. These I got done in Barcelona. This one in London.
It's nice. It's from
Yeah.
different countries.
Yeah, in
different
Ireland.
memories. Cool.
Lately, I got this in Mexico.
Wow. So
Mexico
you did travel a
City.
lot as well.
Yeah, Goa. Every year I would go like 6-7 times, 6-7 places.
Okay.
You know, I love traveling.
Yes, it's amazing, honestly.
Yeah, you learn a lot and you grow a
You
lot.
discover a lot.
Yeah, you discover yourself, you know,
Yes.
because who are we? We are a column of water. That's what we are. You know, like a column of water standing up. And we are subjected to many stimuli, you know, around us. News, traffic, people, ideas, whatever. So what you are is a state of reaction to whatever is coming at you. If you remove yourself from this pot and you put yourself in another surrounding where you are stimulated by different stimuli, there will be another version of you. And you can only discover that when you travel. Different language, different culture, different colors, different architecture, different way of thinking, different energetic vibe in that city, you know, in the place that you
It's
are.
so true.
And you sense it.
You feel different.
And you are different.
Yeah.
Different reactions, you know, and then you get the distance, you know, to observe yourself from another point of view, because now you are not subjected to the same stimuli, reacting the same way unconsciously, and therefore it's the same you. Now you are different, you are another you,
Yeah.
criticizing or commenting or dissecting, observing, analyzing the former you in another setting, you know. And if you have the awareness to do this, then travel will do you great. If you, the change will happen unconsciously also, but if you are conscious about it, it's even better. It takes it to a higher dimension. You become more of a master of yourself, you know. And this is what travel does. But if you travel, like let's say, and go to a mall,
Yeah. It's not
it's
that
the same vibe as going
eye-opening.
to any mall, you know. The vibe
Yeah.
in the mall is the same.
Yeah, it's true.
Same, but different. But you didn't do much, you know. Especially if you travel with your friends. Also, your friends will trigger you in the same way that they always did. You know, the same comments, same jokes, same whatever. If you go alone, that's the trick. To go alone.
It's
you
in my
know?
bucket list.
You have to. The best trips you do are the ones when you do alone.
Because you get out of your comfort zone
Yeah.
وخلاص تنجبر يعني to
You are a different person. Now you are with yourself. How can you deal with it, you know?
True.
Are you friends with yourself, or are you gonna, you know, cry about it? You decide. So yeah,
I hope not.
yeah. No, it's easy.
Yeah.
It's easier than you think. You know, it's so easy. And nowadays, you know, on your phone, on your Airbnb, you can go and check different activities and do group activities with other people, and you make
and
friends.
it's even easier to
So
exactly
easy.
to meet people.
Yeah. If you're open to it and if it's what you want, you can get it. If you want to go and be alone, you can also. You know, it's also, an experience. But it's also nice to interact with other people, you know, have lunch, have dinner, do activities, you know, little conversation
Exactly, and learn about their culture.
Yeah.
You know. If you speak to those people, you will learn a lot about the country.
Yeah. Even foreigners and that tourists like you from another,
from another culture.
they have their stories
Yeah.
to tell you and their, triggers. So cool.
It is.
Yeah.
Great. So, Hady, to wrap this up, I think a lot of people, after watching that podcast, got inspired a lot from you. And I believe that maybe if you can give one final advice to any artist, a current artist, an upcoming artist, someone maybe who is afraid to start, what would you tell them? You know, to really grow into that field and just let it go.
One motto I say to myself,
Okay.
always, this is like the rule, it's better to do it than not to do it.
I love it.
Because if you've done it, you've done it. At least you know what it is.
Yeah.
If you don't do it, you will never know.
And you always question it.
So as a rule, shall I do this painting or not? It's better to do it than not. Even if you're gonna throw it in the trash, who cares? But it's better to have done it.
At least you
know?
tried.
So it's better to do it than not to do it.
Okay.
Just do it.
Nike.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Always be ready, you know, because what does it mean to be ready? To be alert, to be on guard, you know? It's like you have a cup of water or a barrel of water. Wherever you pierce it, water is gonna flow instantly. The water is not gonna hesitate and think, should I flow or not? You pierce it here, it will flow here instantly. So to succeed, you have to be ready, because the fish will come. If you're not ready to fish it out, the opportunity is the fish.
It will go away.
It will go. If you're not ready, on the spot to grasp it, gone. You know, so you have to be ready. To be ready, you have to be mentally ready, and you know, emotionally and physically and all that. So you have to maintain yourself. You have to read. You have to have ideas floating in your mind. You have to have bullet points. You know, this is my focus. I want this. I'm looking for a good quality textile to paint on T-shirts, for example. So you're open to that. You go to several places. You meet different people. You check different material. You talk to. You're ready, and then one day someone says, "Oh, I have this piece of textile. My friend in another country is gonna whatever. Okay, I'll buy it." You know, you're ready. You know,
You grab it.
you grab it.
And you do it.
Yeah, it's like that.
Deal. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for having me for this amazing talk. I honestly learned a lot by talking to you, and I really wish you all the best. You really are an amazing artist.
Thank you.
And I hope you keep inspiring people, whether your clients when they come to you, whether anyone you meet or discuss, because heck, you have a very rich background and it's nice to share your story. So thanks again.
Thank you.
And best of luck in everything you do, Hady.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Tracy, it was a pleasure being with you.
Thank you.
Really.
Booking fam, thank you so much for watching. We really hope you enjoyed that episode, and until the next one, see you.